Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is Skankly Bones. I'm your host today, here in the new workshop. Hopefully you saw the video on the workshop. So, here to talk about some more do-it-yourself, and specifically tools, specialized tools. So, we all like Park tools out there, right? They make great heavy-duty tools. Park tool, BBT9, absolutely awesome tool. Obviously your bottom bracket tools, all your different bottom bracket tools, you gotta have them. Even if you're like me, you're gonna get yourself one of these, which is an alignment tool for the rear mech hanger. That way you're not always replacing the rear mech hanger, because that can be kind of a pain in the butt. But you want to bend it back, you want to reuse that, it's aluminum, be reused, rebent until it actually snaps off and breaks. Yeah, we buy specialized tools. Obviously, if you don't, you take it to the shop. You pay $20, and within 2 times of taking your bike to the shop, you've paid off this tool. So, but there's a couple of tools out there that aren't $50, $60, that are specialist tools, and they're not. They're a little bit more hard to come by. And the funny thing is, they are 4 items that you should be doing yourself. And I'm talking about bottom bracket tools. So, just pull that tool aside so we don't break it. But, so yeah, a few years ago, in fact, let's go back in the 70s and early 80s. For the most part, people would have a square taper bottom bracket that had individual ball bearings. In order to take that bottom bracket apart, you had a spanner tool, which would break torque on that. And you take the square taper out, you take the races out, and your ball bearings would come out, and you clean it, and you'd have that race that was inside the bottom bracket, and you could put it all back together. Then Shimano and some other companies decided that they were going to come up with what was called a sealed cartridge bottom bracket. So they pretty much made a bottom bracket just like that. The bearings were all integrated, and you take them apart? Yes, you can actually take those bearings apart. Are you supposed to? No, you're just supposed to buy a new bottom bracket with those. They're what they call square taper sealed cartridge bottom brackets. There's a number of different types of sealed cartridge bottom brackets, and we're not going to go through all the different standards. But just so you know, square taper was the most common, and that just means the spindle is square and it's tapered. In order to remove crank arms, you had to have a crank arm tool like this that would remove both crank arms, so both the chainring side and the opposing crank arm had to come off with using a crank arm puller. Okay. And you took these 2 hex bolts out that would hold the crank arm on. You'd thread this in, it would pull the crank arm off. And then of course you'd use one of these guys that would go inside. And you could grab yourself let's see the size of that. Oh, sorry folks, I forget. 1.25 inch, yeah, it was an 1.25 inch wrench socket. Like so, and it would pull the bottom bracket cups out. And it was all one solid piece. So it would pull this external threading out on one side, and then you take it on the other side and pull the whole bearing out, bearing assembly. It was a bearing assembly and spindle. Well, Shimano, Campagnola, and SRAM all decided we're going to make an integrated, we're going to make a little bit different type of bottom bracket, and we're going to call it external bottom bracket. Shimano really came up with it first. They created what was called the Holotech 2 bottom bracket, and created external bearings. Okay, so made the bearing area wider on the bottom bracket. Made it very easy to change the bottom bracket. You just pull off one crank arm. We just have 2 little bolts, pull it off. The other side that had the chain rings, that's where the spindle arm was actually, the actual shaft was attached to. So it was what we call a 2-piece crank system. Then the bearing would come out with a special tool like this that would slip over. It had the little grooves in it, and you could use it to pull the external bearings off. Well, now with carbon fiber frames, now don't get me wrong, Pinarello uses carbon fiber frames, and they have external bearings that screw into the frame. And they're the one company that's done that with their frames over the years. They've kept that standard. They're like, listen, these bottom brackets are phenomenal for both SRAM and for Shimano group sets, and we're going to keep that standard. We're not going to mess around with it. We're not going to screw around with it. So, yes, Pinarello is the one company that makes carbon fiber frames that has external threaded bottom brackets. The cups actually sit in just a little bit into the frame a little bit because the frame is a little wider. So the threads are inset just a little bit, but that's what Pinarello does. But for the most part, most companies use what's called a press fit system. Press fit system, there's 3 or 4 of them. One of the big standards is a press fit 30. There's bottom bracket 30, which is used by Jamis bicycles. In both their, not just their carbon fiber frames, but in their Icon frames as well. Their Icon aluminum frame, which is their ultralight race aluminum bike, similar to the Giant Propel SLR that I have. So very similar. Use a press fit system, but it's kind of proprietary to Jamis and Trek and some other, a few other companies. Okay, then you have Press Fit 90, I believe, or 96. I forget the one that's what it is. It's one that's used by Trek specifically. And once again, it is designed around the Shimano crank arms, the Holotech 2. It's very wide though. It's one of the widest out there on the market, biggest bottom bracket that you can get. Has a little clip ring that goes inside, and then you press the bearings inside. Now, Giant uses a standard that is one of the most common standards used in bottom brackets called Press Fit 30, or bottom bracket. It's called bottom bracket 8692, 86/92. So Press Fit 30 or bottom bracket 8692 is exactly the same thing. I don't know why there's the 2 different names there. I think bottom bracket BB 8692 is the name of the bottom bracket, and Press Fit 30 is the name of the actual frame. Press Fit 30 is the way the cup works, and BB 8692 is, that might, I forget exactly what it is. I haven't done a ton of research on it because the Giant is the first bike that I've used that standard on. But it's a pretty standard bottom bracket. So, of course, Park Tool makes press fit tools for specifically that work for both for the headsets, because a lot of headsets use press fit bearings. So you have to press fit the bearings inside the headset. Now some companies don't. Giant on some of theirs, they don't actually, you don't have to press the bearings in, they kind of just sit inside the race. So it makes it kind of easy to remove those as well. But of course they use an oversized steer tube. But many companies, you actually have to press the headset's bearings in. So what Park Tool did is they came out with this professional tool. And I'll see if I can show you a picture of it. So, let's see here. They have 2 tools. They have a home tool kit, home press they call it, and it costs $86. I'm going to show you my homemade kit. Like I said, do-it-yourself episode. You're wondering why I'm talking about bottom bracket standards in a do-it-yourself episode. Okay, so as you can see here, let's see here. Right here on the bottom, that's the bottom bracket and headset press the Park Tool makes. Okay, I don't remember the exact name of it, but that unit alone costs almost $300, and that's on Amazon. And then Park Tool, like I said, they make a less expensive version of it. It does the same thing, it's just not as fancy looking. It doesn't have some of the locking mechanisms. It's pretty much a threaded rod, steel rod, with some nuts on the end and some washers, and then it's a T-handle. It's they welded handles on the nuts, and they charge us $76. Now, Park Tools, like I said, they're extremely high quality, and it's a high quality tool. It's not a cheap, junky tool. The $76 one isn't. But I was thinking to myself, why in the world would I pay $76 to buy one when I could probably spend $5 and make one from Home Depot? So that's what we did. So what I did order, because you don't want to make this tool, is I did order the bottom bracket removal tool. And it is the BBT 90.3. Okay, and don't ask me the numbering system of Park Tools. They have their own special numbering system. And this is what it looks like, okay? Now there's a couple of removal tools. There's one that looks like a screwdriver. It's almost got a screwdriver handle. And it's got this flat flange system, and that's for the, I think for the, this is for the Press Fit 30 or the BBT, or bottom bracket, sorry, bottom bracket. This is for bottom bracket 8692. Okay, that's what this is made for, which is what we have. Okay, now how this works is this slides in this way. Let's say your bottom bracket's here, your other cup is over here, you slide it through. This pulls like this, goes inside the bearing, and then from the other side you hammer the bearing out, and then you pop your bottom bracket cups out that way. Okay. Once you get the one out, it's easy just to put this through and just tap it out. And this is what taps it out. Now there are some other companies that make some like this. They're a lot cheaper. Well, I shouldn't say a lot cheaper. This is $46. There's a company that makes this and this for $39. And the only part of it that's worth the money is this. But I'm here to tell you this costs $5 to make. In fact, you can make this. This you can use for the headset as well, foot long, but you can make two of these for $10. So, and then I made a longer one. I bought a 2-foot rod and a 1-foot rod. So this is for the bottom bracket. The other one is for the headset, just in case you have a extra larger headset. And then got 2 tools. Great deal. So I bought this. Okay, because one thing you don't get when you're making your own bearing press is you're not going to get these. So as you can see, I bought a steel rod, threaded steel rod. You're not going to break this, never going to break, guaranteed. Bought a packet of washers, 4 washers, and then 4 nuts. Okay, so this is a 5/8 rod. Threaded rod, and put a nut on, slide the washer on. The washer is to protect the press here. These presses, by the way, for this particular one come with the removal tool. So that's the one thing Park Tool does. When you buy the removal tool, they give you the installation presses. Okay, the only thing you have to have is the main press itself. Now, one thing you can do is you can go on Amazon, and there's a couple of companies, you don't have to buy them from Park, that make every type of bearing bottom bracket press, a whole set of these for like $40. So you go out, you buy this Park Tool removal tool, you can buy all of them for $150. And then you use this, make it for $5. So for $155, you have every type of bottom bracket and headset press that you'd ever need. But the company that makes the presses themselves, this is what we call, this is the actual press, or the flange, whatever, however you want to call that. But the company that makes them for all the headsets and all the bottom bracket standards. So when you're getting it, you're getting for $50, where you're paying $40 or $50 for, you're getting about 15 of these guys. So you're getting everything. So you don't have to worry about, am I going to have, you have a complete set. So very simple. You don't have a handle on it, you're going to have to use a wrench. So in reality, if I don't have an adjustable wrench, if I'm so cheap that I don't have an adjustable wrench, sure, I got to go out and spend $5 and buy an adjustable wrench. So now I'm up to $10 for said tool. but quite a bit cheaper than paying $75. Now there's a company that makes a $30 one on Amazon. And from the reviews I've read, it's made out of aluminum. The handle is, and the threaded rod is aluminum. It's not steel. So you're paying $30 and you're getting something that possibly could strip. Now, it might not. It might work fine. But get a steel one. Make yourself a steel one. Okay. If you have to, take these nuts and get somebody to weld some handles on it for you. You got a handled one. You don't have to use a wrench. So if you use a little bit of ingenuity, you can make yourself a very nice tool. So just do it yourself for next to nothing. And I'm not joking, because the washer, like I said, I made two of them. This dowel rod costs $2.50. The 2-foot rod costs $5. And then the four nuts, the 4 washers, and it even came with lock washers, which you're not going to use. 4 of these guys. That was like $4. Or, sorry, no, $3. $3. So 3, 4, 5, and yeah, $10, pretty much. I got a military discount, so I got $1 off. So that's it, folks. As far as doing it yourself, don't go out and spend ridiculous amounts of money on every tool out there. Certain tools you want good stuff. Buy yourself a nice bike stand, okay? Now you can find a good, inexpensive bike stand that is very good. But if you don't know what you're looking for in bike stands, get yourself a Park Tool stand. The best thing you can do, okay? I had somebody asked me this, the bike stand that I purchased here. They asked me about it. Somebody was like, "Oh, well, you know, what would you recommend to upgrade this stand?" I'm like, "Well, if you're gonna upgrade, just go to a Park Tool. Don't. This one I did some research on, and I found one that had all the build I wanted in a $60 stand. Okay, even ones that were $100 are cheaper than this one that I bought. So don't. If you're not going to get this one, I wouldn't go with any of the other companies out there. And there's a lot of companies out there that make good quality bike stands, repair stands. But Park Tool make the best. So I got this one. I wanted to try it out for $59. When I save up some more money, I tend to invest in a permanent stand. One that has a big, like 80-pound base plate. They have these, 200-pound base plates, a big steel base plate. You bolt the stand to it. You pay $50 for the base plate, you pay $200 for the stand, and it's a permanent shop stand. And that's what I plan to do, is I plan to buy one of those and use that as a permanent shop stand in my garage. For right now, this does the job. Now, one complaint that I have is obviously the head is made of plastic where it grips. It's not going to affect carbon fiber. You want to grip on the seat post for the most part, but this one, it's a little flimsy on the seat post, so I use it on the top too. With aluminum bikes, it's not going to matter. Plus, it's probably not going to hurt the carbon fiber with it being plastic jaws, not steel jaws. But that's what I recommend doing. So, back to the bottom bracket thing. You should be able to change out the bottom bracket yourself. You should be able to service your own bearings, service your own bottom bracket. Take it apart when it gets wet and dirty and grimy and greasy, especially, sorry about that, I wanted to put that tool down before it tingled too much. I know it's Christmas time, but you should be, especially on mountain bikes, you should be servicing those bottom brackets a little bit more often than not. And I don't mean taking the bearings apart and cleaning them. I'm talking about pulling the crank arms apart and out and making sure there's no water inside of there, especially if you have an aluminum bike, because water eventually over time will corrode. Can still cause problems with carbon fiber if you're not careful as well. Yes, it's not going to, it's not going to rust. You're not going to get major corrosion, but we have here where I'm at in Guam, all water is very hard. Lots of lime, lots of corrosion, it's lots of salt water, so it's going to even eat away at the carbon fiber if you give it long enough. So that's why I say you want to take your stuff apart and you want to clean it very good. Chains get destroyed out here. Bike chains just absolutely annihilated. So it's something that you want to do on every time I ride my bike. I get back, I clean my chain. Every month, I take a look at my bottom bracket. I pull the spindle arm, the arms, cranks arms apart. I pull them out and I check the bearings, make sure everything is good. It's good inside. I look at them. It seems like a little overkill, but that's part of riding a road bike or a mountain bike or any type of bike. And pretty soon I'm going to be doing a couple projects with mountain bikes, and I will show you before we start just what happens by letting a bike sit. And those bikes sat in Virginia, not in Guam, and they were in a shed. So they weren't out in the elements, they were inside of a shed. But being the fact that they weren't in temperature controlled, stuff can rust very quickly. So unless you get all titanium parts, you can get some rusting going on, you can get some corrosion going on, you get some major damage. So one of those bikes, I'm gonna have to completely redo the group set. It's got a lot of rust. I mean, I don't have to, like I could stick with what I have, but most of the group set needs re-cleaned and built. Take it apart and greased and lubricated and cleaned up, and I need to replace the chain, I'm going to replace cables, a lot of stuff needs replaced. So you will be seeing that. We're going to do some extra do-it-yourself episodes with that, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. So that's it for me today. I know it's been a little bit long video, ranting a little bit about don't overspend on your tools, but you got to pick and choose, folks. That's really what it comes down to. You got to find what tools are the right ones. And the nice thing is, that's why I go to Amazon. It's because you always find reviews on all the products you purchase, almost everything. And you just read what people say. So people will tell you. That's what the guy said. I read a review on another tool on a press. The guy said, no, buy this, make your own press. Bam. That's what I did. Cost me $40. $45 altogether to make the press. So $40 for this, $5 for the press. Now I got myself a nice bottom bracket tool, and I can use it for all the new bottom brackets that are coming out. So hopefully, folks, you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you give us a like if you liked it. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below. And like always, keep riding.